Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Let me spend the next 10-15 minutes presenting key highlights of eGov Impact Report. Viraj highlighted the challenge that India faces due to rapid urbanization in the next decade, and this will lead to exponential rise in demand for citizen services. And we believe that technology will play a critical role in enabling such a large-scale transformation, but we also know that technology is only one piece of the puzzle. At eGov, we've been at it effort for this last 17 years now, and it is really satisfying to see footprint of eGov span across 2,400 cities in 14 states and impacting over 160 million citizens. Next slide, please. We have enabled our cities to become financially stronger by collecting more than 15,000 crore in revenues. We've also enabled citizen participation in governance by helping register and redress over 3.5 million grievances on the platform. And the platform also enabled over 25 million transactions between citizens and the local government. When we think about impact, we look at our most important stakeholder, which is the citizens. The ecosystem of stakeholders that revolves around improving the lives of Indian citizens includes city and state government, central government, administrators and the frontline employees, businesses, academia, research institutes, and civil society. Through our mission, we strive to meet the objectives of all our stakeholders. Apart from focusing on ease of living and participation for citizens, our impact framework also measures gains in efficiency of the employees, financial sustainability of the ULBs, use of data and decision making, and new solutions built on the Digit platform. And finally, the framework is meaningful only if it is positively contributing to improving trust amongst the participants, building state capacity, and providing equitable access to all. Our very first impact report is our humble effort to highlight the change that eGov and our partner ecosystem have managed to bring in the lives of citizens working alongside the government. And we have tried to package this experience as a playbook and open sourced it to drive transformation at scale and speed across the country. We have attempted to present our experience working with states like Andhra Pradesh, Punjab, Uttarakhand, Odisha in the report as case studies with objective evaluation of what has worked and what is still work in progress. Next slide, please. Let me start with Andhra Pradesh. Our engagement with AP is very special, as this was the first time we had an opportunity to drive statewide urban governance transformation. AP, as we all know, has been a pioneer in leveraging technology for citizen-centric governance and inclusive growth. And back in 2015, government of AP decided to create a common digital platform for all 110 ULBs in the state. This effort was combined with creation of new online channels while leveraging existing offline channels for citizens to interact and access their local government. The AP government articulated a very clear vision, not just to resolve urban governance challenge in the state, but to raise the bar for municipal governance and service delivery for the entire country. And fast forward today, the results are really noteworthy. Next slide. The program impacted the lives of more than 1.4 crore citizens by digitizing over 35 services. And as part of the program, government also took a very bold step of publishing the Citizen Charter. Not just that, in a radical departure from the norm, the government also publicly announced the policy to compensate the citizens in case of slippage of SLAs. The strong focus on quality of service delivery resulted in 90% of citizen requests being serviced within the publicly announced SLAs and reduction of grievance redressal time from 24 days to just 5 days. That's an improvement of over 500%. Next slide. And the strong focus on eliminating manual process and digitizing it also helped build trust on the system and its data. Another bold decision was to improve trust and participation by the citizen was to make number of dashboards public. Today, a citizen can visit AP Municipal Administration website and view real-time data on number of services. For example, grievance redressal data, property tax data, and various other indicators for the city, ward, and locality. Next slide. One of the main benefits of digitally enabled governance is that state leaders, administrators, and ULB employees can have access to reliable and structured data. This substantially improves their ability to manage ULB performance and direct resources to high traffic areas. Next slide. One of the core tenets of a truly public platform is that it provides ability for others to solve instead of trying to solve everything itself, something along the lines what Prabodh just mentioned. And the open architecture of the platform has allowed multiple new solutions to be built and integrated with the platform. This has not only resulted states' ability to innovate faster, but also save time and money in avoiding duplication in building the foundational layers which already existed on the core platform. And some examples of the solution integrated with this platform are the property registration department integrated the stamps and registration system with property tax system to enable one-step issuance of mutation certificate. The land record department integrated the Bhu Aadhaar system built by NIC to provide verification of land ownership through the land's use life cycle. Vasar Lab had integrated their dashboard, leveraging a lot of data coming out of the core platform. And we have Prasad, the CEO of Vasar Labs, also in the upcoming panel discussion. So we will have more to hear from him as well. Next slide. To highlight the versatility of the platform, when the government launched doorstep delivery of citizen services, the platform enabled enrollment of over 30,000 ward secretaries and over 1.5 lakh ward volunteers on the platform. The impact was to establish a vibrant and effective service delivery system for the state. And today, over 90% of service requests actually flows through this network. This helped prevent corruption, discrimination, and this infrastructure could also be rapidly repurposed to handle emergency situations which arise during COVID. Next slide. And finally, in a recent conducted survey by an independent third party to study the impact of Nagar Seva platform on the lives of citizens and employees, we saw the results were really satisfying. More than 74% of citizens saw greater access to government, with over 60% also seeing enhanced service delivery. Employees reported a tremendous improvement in productivity, with over 11 hours saved per week from manual processes, and over 96% seeing significant improvement in their ability to serve the citizens. Next slide. Coming to Punjab, our next state, a partnership with PMIDC started back in 2018. And after years of struggling to procure commercial software to digitize citizen services, we heard yesterday from Ajoy about this. In March 2018, under the leadership of Ajoy Sharma, PMIDC decided to go with eGov Open Platform, Digit. And the PMIDC team felt that platform-based approach will be faster to roll out and enable the state to build its capacity at a much lower cost. And rightly so, this was one of the fastest rollout we have seen of Digit. What has typically taken 2 to 3 years in many states for program of similar nature, 100 ULBs in Punjab went live in just 90 days. The platform has brought many transformative changes in employee productivity, improved citizen access to local government, and a whole new level of transparency and accountability in the system. Next slide. One example of this is the miscellaneous collection. Before Digit, ULB employees had been using paper-based manual G8 slips for collecting collecting payments for things like advertisement tax, parking charges, outdoor media, etc. And this process of using manual G8 slips had several drawbacks. It was prone to error, it was prone to being damaged or misplaced, it was hard to make any changes, and at the same time, it increased chances of malpractices by employees and resulting in revenue leakage. And to prevent the leakage of revenue and all these other disadvantages, back in August 2019, miscellaneous collection system was introduced to digitize this entire process. And the revenue from this increased multifold from 13 crore per quarter to over 200 crore collected within a year. And this was possible due to a combination of policy intervention, which eliminated manual process completely and thereby curbing the revenue leakage and very easy to use application for collections. Apart from miscellaneous collection, various types of revenues and charges have seen very good growth. Last year, the total revenues collected on the platform was more than 500 crores, including various fees and charges. And this has helped in improving financial sustainability of all the ULBs. Next. To make it really easy to access municipal services, eGov and PMIDC partnered to launch mSeva WhatsApp chatbot just a few weeks ago. And now citizens can access services by simply chatting on WhatsApp. No need to download any app or go to ULB offices. Since its launch a little over a month ago, we are already seeing between 15 to 20% of complaints being logged using WhatsApp. And eGov and PMIDC are committed to expand the range of services available through mSeva chatbot, and citizens in Punjab should soon be able to view and pay bills and access various services via WhatsApp. Next slide. The most unique thing about our engagement with Punjab was right from the beginning, the state was very keen to build their own capacity to deploy and manage the platform. And they assembled a terrific team of 20 people consisting of project manager, solution architect, engineers, and we spent a lot of time, close to 1,100 hours in Bangalore and over 7,000 hours of online training to enable the entire team on Digit platform. And today that team is completely self-sufficient in not only managing day-to-day operations of the platform, but has already started enhancing and building new solutions on that. It is very satisfying to see state taking ownership of the platform themselves and being self-sufficient in doing so. This is a marked departure from approach taken by most other states. And a lot of credit goes to Shri Ajay Sharma and his team. Next slide. Apart from Punjab, few other states where Digit is being rolled out as we speak. In Uttarakhand, the program is ongoing, called as Nagar Seva, and it is currently live in 60 of the 90 ULBs. Next is Odisha. The program is called Sujog. It's a very critical part of the 5T initiatives of the Odisha government, and the program has kicked off just a few weeks ago. Next slide. Chandigarh Smart City. This was a significant milestone in our partnership journey. Chandigarh Smart City was the first city where partner rolled out Digit completely on their own. The program is very ambitious, where 31 modules are planned to go live, of which 11 modules are already live. This is a great example where a commercial player leveraged a public digital infrastructure like Digit and worked with the government to deliver value to the society. We also have Rakesh Kaul from PwC in the upcoming panel discussion and would love to hear his views as well on that. Lastly, Each Chhauni, which is the most recent addition to our customer list, is the Ministry of Defense. They have chosen Digit Platform and Bell as an implementation partner to provide online citizen services across all 62 cantonment boards of India. This entire program was conceived and set up during the COVID period without anyone from eGov or the partner organization having to travel. Next slide. Working with partners is a way of life for all of us at eGov. Previous one. Soumya, previous slide, please. So working with partners is a way of life for all of us at eGov. Significant effort of our product engineering partnership team goes in helping partners be successful in their state engagements. And in the last 18 months, we have enabled over 15 partners, spending close to 150 partner enablement sessions and 11,000 hours of partner training. We now also have over 150 artifacts in form of videos and documents that are used by our partners on a regular basis. And we believe we are just getting started. Next slide. I would also like to share today one example of how great things can be achieved when Sarkar, Bazaar, and Samaj comes together to deliver value during the need of the hour. During COVID lockdown, which we'll all remember, one of the most important problems to solve was how to ensure movement of essential goods and service providers during lockdown across the state borders. So working in collaboration with organizations such as iSpirit, Amazon Web Services, NEGD, and Ministry of Consumer Affairs, we very quickly designed and built a highly scalable bulk e-pass system on Digit, which was rolled out within days. Next slide. The system was eventually used by over 8 states to register 50,000 essential service providers, and it issued around 1 million daily passes. This is a true power of open digital platform working in collaboration with the broader ecosystem to build contextually relevant solutions in a very short period of time. Next slide. The last case which I want to pick up from our impact report is the recent study which was done along with Aapti Institute. So as mentioned in Viraj's presentation on moving towards deepening our impact, we recently commissioned a study along with Omidyar Network and Aapti Institute to explore the impact of public digital platform and to better understand access to such platform for last mile users, especially those who are not digitally native or may face other barriers to accessing government services. Through field research conducted in multiple states across AP, Punjab, and Tamil Nadu, researchers from AAPTI set out to compare experiences of people in well-connected, well-served, and high internet use areas, and the areas which are not very well-connected, low internet use, and informal areas, to get answers to questions like, are they able to access municipal service, and through what channels do they normally do so? The results have highlighted that citizens access services from local government through multiple channels. They also show that there are multiple groups that still prefer to contact the ULBs in person or through phone calls, rather than using digital channels. And the study also highlighted that marginalized groups may face additional barriers or considerations while applying for services. And the last point is it's also highlighted the important role played by intermediaries, be it a local NGO, local entrepreneurs, or a political actor in accessing of government services. We intend to do a lot more research, further research on this, and also pilot how can we build solutions which can amplify the effect of the intermediaries. Next slide. Now, I'd finally like to end by thanking everybody who has helped us in this every step of this remarkable journey. We hope to continue building out this ecosystem even broader as we take on more challenges in the coming years. We could not have done it without you all. Thank you very much. Next slide. The link to download the entire report will be available in the chat window right now. This is the link which you are able to see in your screen. I hope you download the report and enjoy reading it the way we enjoyed making it. Thanks again, everybody, for attending today's session.